From the KHOU 11 studios, this is H-Town Rush.
Just very intense. I know there's people trying to get home and hoping everybody is okay, but yeah, this is a lot of water.
Water break chaos. Now at 5, we're covering breaking news. Houston, we're waking up to a major mess. The entire city under a boil water order. Roads, well, they're just starting to reopen, and it's caused all kinds of closures.
It's everything from schools to courts to clinics. HISD, University of Houston, and UH downtown are closed. Harris County District Court is closed. There are also impacts in the Med Center this morning, among other closures. Now, we have all of those closures scrolling at the bottom of your screen this morning, and we are updating them for you in real time on KHOU.com as well. Welcome to H-Town Rush, everybody. I'm Steph Simmons here with Xavier, Brandy, and Erica. Good morning.
Yeah, we know you guys have a lot of questions, everything from whether you can shower this morning, that's a yes, to planning your lunch today. All morning, we're going to do our best to answer some of those questions.
But first, happy Friday, everyone. But Erica, why don't you kick off that rush block?
Yeah, because a lot of people probably want to know if there's water on the roads. Do I expect frozen water on the ground? And the answer is no, because temperatures are actually warmer than yesterday. Yesterday, we woke up to a light freeze. For a good chunk of our viewing area this morning, the only light freeze I'm tracking is in areas such as Conroe. But we're in the upper 30s officially here in Houston. So no issues of ice on the roads. But let's talk about your Friday forecast. It is looking gorgeous, guys. Enjoy the sunshine today. We'll be in the 60s for your lunch hour and then warm it up to the 70s. Our forecast high this afternoon, 70 degrees. As far as your weekend goes, gradual warm up and rain chances returning. They increase for the start of next week. So I'll talk about the next system coming up in the full forecast. Steph.
All right, Erica, everybody wants to know if you're on the east side of town, what's closed, what's open. Well, you know what? Panic is over because all of the main lanes in both directions on the East Loop by the Ship Channel are moving. The only activity you're seeing in the screen is the exit is currently blocked for cleanup going northbound, and that is Clinton Drive. So you want to pass it on by and use Market Street, and that's not really causing a backup at all because a lot of people are off on Fridays, and if you're not off, it's still early. So I'll let you know if that activity changes. So a good pace out of Conroe this morning, just less than 30 minutes to get into downtown if you're jumping on at 1488. And then we still have a little bit of red here. This was a terrible crash that caused the closure of all of the eastbound lanes on I-10 by Cedar. Everything just cleared, but it was shut down for so long that we are still seeing some residual slowing there. But again, you do not need an alternate route this morning. Xavier.
All right, Steph, thank you. Here is video of what the water main break looks like. In one shot, you see the water gushing out of a gaping hole in the ground. Janelle Ford is live in East Houston on what caused this mess. Janelle, crews have been there all night.
Yeah, Xavier, we heard that, we've learned that a city contractor was doing exploratory work on a water main project where they'd already determined that there was a leak. And when they moved the soil from it, it burst. It happened about half a mile down Clinton here. You can see this morning things still blocked off. But here's a closer look at the source. This is a 96-inch tall pipe we're talking about. That's 8 feet taller than a pickup truck. And the 35-year-old pipe serves 50% of the city. So that really puts it into perspective why on a sunny day in Houston, we saw massive flooding. 610 was shut down for hours yesterday as streets flooded. 3 people had to be rescued and nearly a dozen cars got stranded. We reached out to Harper Brothers Construction, the contractor working on the line yesterday. A representative for the company declined to comment on the incident. And although the flooding is over, this is not over yet. Throughout the morning, we've been telling you guys about those boil water notices in place. It's affecting everything from school districts to restaurants to the zoo. And we're going to head over to Stephanie Simmons, who has all the information on that. Hey, Steph, good morning.
Hey, Janelle, good morning. Yeah, let's talk more about that boil water notice because the city is currently under one. And this map shows the impacted areas. And that is a lot of yellow you're seeing across Harris County. So everyone is dealing with this except for Kingwood and Bel Air, and that's in effect for you until further notice. So here's what you need to do during this time. For starters, bring your tap water to a boil on the stove for about 2 minutes, then let that cool before transferring that water to a clean container like a water jug. That's the water you should use when washing fruit, vegetables, preparing baby formula, making your morning coffee or tea and other drinks as well, and also filling up your pet's water dish. You should also use that water when brushing your teeth. Now, tap water should be fine for showering and bathing as long as you don't swallow that water.
Great information there, Steph. All right, well, if you're boiling water at home to make coffee, just imagine what's going on in the world's biggest medical complex. Yeah, let that sink in. The Med Center is dealing with this too. Hospitals are taking emergency measures. They've rescheduled surgeries. They've brought in portable toilets, and they're asking visitors to stay home. If you had an appointment scheduled for today or another reason to head to the Med Center, you really need to check with your hospital or doctor before heading there. Brandy.
Xavier, we know folks are waking up with a lot of questions. We're going to try to answer some of them as best we can. So we're going to start with Sarah, who asked, when will water pressure be restored to those who have no water? Well, overnight, Mayor Turner tweeted that water pressures have stabilized, but the crews are still working on repairs. There's a chance, depending on where you are, there could be lingering issues. Just a heads up. So next, if you're headed into work with the boil notice, you're probably wondering, does your office have water? What about water bottles? We can't exactly answer that one for you, so it's definitely something you want to think about as you plan your morning. But we can share that here at KHOU, we have these messages posted everywhere warning employees not to drink the tap water, don't use the coffee machine, that kind of thing. And this is a big deal for a lot of people too. Will the water impact cook-off? Rodeo Houston answered that yesterday. Since it's all self-contained in a parking lot, the teams have potable water, hand sanitizing stations, and portalettes. The event is good to go, so that's a plus. Do you have any other questions you want us to answer? You can ask them on social media. Just remember to use the hashtag HTownRush and stay with KHOU 11 as we continue to bring you the very latest on this. We'll let you know when the boil water notice is lifted, all on KHOU.com and our mobile app.
It is a great resource. All right, now to breaking news overnight. People wake up to gunfire and helicopters in the middle of the night. A man pulled a gun and shot at police who were chasing him. This happened at an apartment complex on Greens Road near Imperial Valley just before 1 a.m. HPD officers spotted a suspicious man wandering the neighborhood. They got out of their car to talk to him. That's when he took off running and then shot at them. A bullet hit a car window, but no officers were hurt. That shooter is still on the run. Moving on this morning, killed on the side of the highway. A pickup truck on the East Freeway struck and killed the man who was checking on his trailer load. Another man who was helping him was hurt. This happened in Channelview just after 10 last night. 3 others in that rollover crash were treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Deputies held the driver on suspicion of DWI.
Stop buying medical masks. The CDC is telling the public to leave masks on shelves for people who need them, like doctors and nurses. Still, fear over the spreading coronavirus is emptying the shelves. Congress is currently working on a bill to fund a federal response to the virus. Meanwhile, California officials are retracing the actions of a woman who has the coronavirus without traveling outside the U.S.
Step by step, we look at where they've been, and who they might have been in direct communication with.
The CDC warns that the coronavirus will likely spread. Wall Street is feeling the nervousness. All 3 major indices are down, and the Dow took its biggest single-day point drop ever yesterday. For the latest updates on the virus and its impact, head to khou.com/coronavirus.
The feds raid HISD, a local man connected to a white supremacist conspiracy. And a somber day in Milwaukee, remembering the Molson Coors shooting victims. Your Rush Block continues with the day's other big stories.
FBI agents spent hours inside HISD headquarters. A spokesperson would only say this was a court-approved law enforcement activity and provided no other official information. In addition to the FBI, we saw at least one IRS agent as well. And HISD headquarters was not the only place they visited. A second location where we spotted agents was the home of HISD's chief operating officer.
An accused white supremacist faces a federal judge in Houston. John Cameron Denton will be taken to Virginia in the next few weeks to face a judge there. The FBI says he's connected to a group that called in fake threats nationwide.
They were husbands, they were fathers, and they were friends.
Remembering 5 employees gunned down on the job. Authorities ID'd the shooter as an employee who had a long-running dispute with a co-worker at Molson Coors brewery plant. Investigators say he took his own life after killing his 5 co-workers. Early voting ends today for the Texas Super Tuesday primary. Texas has the second most Democratic presidential delegates up for grabs. Polls, they open at 7 a.m. and close at 7 tonight. Today, the trail rides arrive at Memorial Park. They've been making their way towards Houston from all over the state. They'll camp out there tonight before taking part in the rodeo parade tomorrow morning. And that's your Rush Block on this Friday.
Okay, let's talk about the one thing you need to know. We have an awesome weekend ahead. It's going to start off sunny, but each day will increase temperatures just a smidge and cloud coverage will increase. So, Steph, by Sunday, we eventually will be mostly cloudy.
All right, one thing you need to know in traffic, we still have some activity on the East Loop, but all of the lanes are moving in both directions there by the Ship Channel. The blinking lights you're seeing, it's the exit going northbound to Clinton Drive. Pass it on by and use Market Street instead.
All right, Steph, thanks. The coronavirus is infecting more continents. Stephanie Whitfield connects the dots on why experts are concerned about a new report on the severity of the virus.
A large study of the coronavirus shows the vast majority of cases are not severe. But some experts say that's actually bad news. Let's connect the dots. The survey in China found that 80% of the confirmed coronavirus cases were mild, with the patients making a full recovery. And medical experts say that's important information to keep in mind as panic starts to spread. But they also warned that all those mild cases could actually help this coronavirus, COVID-19, to spread. Since the symptoms often look like a cold and a cough, people could unknowingly help it spread by not isolating themselves. And that's a problem because the other 20% of cases were severe or critical, with a fatality rate of 2.3%. compared to the seasonal flu, which is 0.1%. So while it's important to stop the spread of the coronavirus, it's also important to spread facts, not fear. Connecting the dots, I'm Stephanie Whitfield for H-Town Rush.
Stephanie, thank you so much. All right, time now is 5:12 on this Friday. Disney is making some magic with a plant-based meat burger, which is who they're going after, and it isn't who you'd actually think. On the other hand, Dunkin' is bagging up a treat for meat lovers, what they're selling now for an afternoon pick-me-up.
I'm Anthony Mason. Coming up, Oscar winner Viola Davis and a virtual reality recreation of the Civil Rights March on Washington. That's ahead on CBS This Morning.